Hey campers, George here again. Yep, another video where no fishes were harmed. Yep, another skunk. Thought I'd come out and give it a try, day off. Seemed like a promising day, but no luck again. But we persist. So I thought while I was here, I'd show you a little gizmo I thought I'd get. I'd been seeing a lot of these being advertised online all over the place. And that is from Gerber, the line driver. I'm sure you've seen the adverts on them. There's been a ton of them out there. And it's their line driver line management tool. And it's a multi-tool. They say it can do 6 different tasks. And it's a little pricey. And I was wondering about the hype on this. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to get myself one and check it out for myself. And I thought I'd share it with you. So let's have a look-see at what we got here. And that is this guy. The Gerber line driver. So let's have a closer look at it and see if it can actually do what they say. So on the backing, obviously, it says Gerber, and it's got the symbols, international symbols, I think they are, for what it can do. And then it lists the 6 functions here. You can see them there. And what they list are 1, spinning hook vise, 2, a tether ring, more on that. Eyelet cleaning spike is 3. 4 is a hook threader, 5 scissor snips, and 6 is a split shot crimper. There you can see it there. And on the back it gives you a description of all the things they described back there. And there's the usual warnings and that sort of thing. They say keep the line in the water. The compact dual-ended line driver has everything needed to simplify line management. One end rotates to quickly tie knots and clear eyelets. The other end features a crimper, hook threader, scissor snips, a pocket clip, and tether point to keep the tool secured for easy access. So there you go. And it's from Gerber. So let's have a closer look at the 6 functions they're bragging about. So here's the tool here, and you can see the tool. And right off the bat, the first thing I noticed, it's well made. It's pretty solid. It's made from aluminum, and it is fairly heavy. It's not unreasonably heavy, but it's solid, and I think that's a good thing. And it, you know, just having a general look at it, it's well made. So let's go through the things they say here. So the first one is the spinning hook vise. So here's the tool here, and on one end they have the spinning hook vise, and that's this guy here. And if you look closely, you can see here it has a press button there, and what that allows you to do is to open the mouth of the vise, just like that. And as you can see in there, there's a little pin in it. Let me move it so you can actually see it here. Let's see if we can focus on it. No, it just don't want to focus, do you? So you can see it there. And what they're talking about is you would put the hook in here, you would be holding it like this, and you can spin the vise on the handle. You can see here it's free spinning. Well, reasonably free spinning. I will say when I got it and I first looked at it, and when I tried to turn the vise, it only turned about a quarter and then got stuck. And I actually forced it around and ran it back and forth a little bit to loosen it up so that I could actually turn it with my fingers. It's still not really free spinning. Whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not sure. It probably is, because you don't want this just spinning around while you're trying to work with it. So this is the vise here, and you've got your little thumb handle here, and what you're going to do is you press on that and it opens the vise. What I've got here is I have a hairy fly and I'm going to just use that as a sample so you can see what I'm doing. Now in here I have the hook. Now I'm going to open this up, and you want to put the hook right behind that little pin and put it in there and just let it go, and it clamps on like that. So now my fly is clamped onto this. It will move around. It's not really a tight vise, but I think it's going to work. So what you're going to do, you would then thread your line through like I have done here, and then you want to spin it to tie your knot off for whatever reason. So you can now spin it, and you can see here, whoops, you can see there I'm getting that twist on the line. So that seems to work pretty well. You would then tie it off. You can release your fly fairly easy, tie it off, and off you go. And that would go for a hook, a fly, a lure, whatever you're using. So that seems to work pretty well. The next thing that they talk about right now on their 6 functions is the tether ring. And this is the one that I have a problem with. So here's the tool here, and on one end they have the spinning hook vise, and that's this guy here. And if you look closely, you can see here it has a press button there, and what that allows you to do is to open the mouth of the vise, just like that. And as you can see in there, there's a little pin in it. Let me move it so you can actually see it here. So you can see it there. And what they're talking about is you would put the hook in here, you would be holding it like this, and you can spin the vise on the handle. You can see here it's free spinning. Well, reasonably free spinning. I will say when I got it and I first looked at it, and when I tried to turn the vise, it only turned about a quarter and then got stuck. And I actually forced it around and ran it back and forth a little bit to loosen it up so that I could actually turn it with my fingers. It's still not really free spinning. Whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not sure. It probably is, because you don't want this just spinning around while you're trying to work with it. So this is the vise here, and you've got your little thumb handle here, and what you're going to do is you press on that and it opens the vise. What I've got here is I have a hairy fly and I'm going to just use that as a sample so you can see what I'm doing. Now in here I have the hook. Now I'm going to open this up, and you want to put the hook right behind that little pin and put it in there and just let it go, and it clamps on like that. So now my fly is clamped onto this. It will move around. It's not really a tight vise, but I think it's going to work. So what you're going to do, you would then thread your line through like I have done here, and then you want to spin it to tie your knot off for whatever reason. So you can now spin it, and you can see here, whoops, you can see there I'm getting that twist on the line. So that seems to work pretty well. You would then tie it off. You can release your fly fairly easy, tie it off, and off you go. And that would go for a hook, a fly, a lure, whatever you're using. So that seems to work pretty well. The next thing that they talk about right now on their 6 functions is the tether ring. And this is the one that I have a problem with. So this was one of the functions that they mentioned on it in the 6 functions. and it is the tether ring. And personally, I don't really think it's a function. I think about just anything to do with fishing, some sort of tool has a way to tether it to your chest pack, your belt, whatever you're going to be doing it with. And I was kind of surprised they considered that one of the special functions. And what they're talking about is this guy right here. You can see it has a hole through it, so you can put a clip on it. Let me see if I can find something to clip it to. Oh, I got a zipper here, one of these guys. It's not a sturdy one, it's not really meant for any weight, it's just got a little hook on the end. And you can put it in here, just like that. And there it hangs. Now, what I think they're talking about is it's an extra way to secure your tool so that you don't lose it. So you would use this to attach this to yourself and it sit there, and then you can take it away. The problem I have is that whenever you use these things, you tend to get pulled back by, the zinger, and I'm not a big fan of that. But it is nice to know there is a safer way to attach it so that you're not going to lose it. If you drop it or something like that, this is going to keep it. So that was the one thing they do. It does spin pretty freely on there, so it shouldn't be a problem when you attach it. I just don't think that they should push this as one of the 6 functions, but that's just me. There you go. So you have the tether ring. So number 3 on their list is the eyelet clearing spike, a hook eye cleaner. Typically you use them on a hook to clear out any goop or anything that gets stuck right here in the end of the hook in the eyelet. And sometimes, like especially with flies, they will put a bit of glue on the end here just to hold the tie down, and then some gets right there in that ring, and you're trying to thread it and it won't go through because it's blocked. Or you were fishing with it, you clipped it off, there's still some line there, it's dried on there with some maybe weed or something. You can use an eyelet cleaner to clean it out. And what they're talking about here, and that was what I showed you before, if you remember on the end here where the vise was, when you open it up, there you can see a little spike in it. And what you're going to do is you take your hook or your fly or whatever you're using, and you open up the vise by pressing just like you did before with the vise, and putting the hook eye in there. You can squeeze it in there, twist it around a little bit and get it cleaned out, and turn it around if you need to. Do the same thing on the other side, squeeze it in there, get it nice and clean. So fairly simple tool, pretty common, and a nice thing to have, handy to have, so that you can get your hook, your fly, your lure, whatever back on there, and cleaning out the little eyelet on your hook. So that is the eyelet clearing spike. So number 4 on their list is the hook threader, and that is, here's your vise, and on the other side you have the hook threader, which is this guy here. You can see it there. It's got the I want to say funnel hole in it, and you'd have your hook in there and you'd pass the thread through. Unfortunately, I don't have a hook, I just have my fly, so it makes it a little difficult, but I'm going to cheat a little bit here and show you how it works. So I've got my fly on there. Ideally you can just put your hook straight into the cone shaped hole here. There is a slit in the front, and you would get your fly line or your regular fishing line, and you would just push it into the funnel, and you can push it into there and it feeds right through. He says it just feeds right through like that, and you can then pull it through there. And if you have bad eyes like me, handy thing to have, especially if you fly fishing or you're using a tapered leader or a really light line. I struggle with that, So that would be a help to me. So there you have it, the hook threader, and that's this guy here. And it's on the other side of it, and it's part of the other functions that they have on there, which we'll cover now. So number 5 on their list of functions is what they call the scissor snips. And it's a pretty good description because their snips can double as scissors in a way. And that's this guy right here. And here you can see here it has a thumb jam, what I call a thumb jam, and there's 2 positions to the scissor snip. So what you can do is you can use the thumb jam here, and what you can see what it does here, it's actually made the scissor part about 3/4 closed, and there's a special function for that, and I'll show you next. But let's have a look at the scissors here quickly. And I'm hoping I can get this to focus because this is pretty cool. If you look carefully at those blades, they're actually serrated and they are sharp. So what you're going to do here is you just push it together like that, and you can cut stuff like, let me find something here quickly, piece here. So I've just got some fly line here, and you just snip it, and it gets right through it. It works really well. You know, I got some fly line here. It snips pretty easy, so it's nice and sharp, easy to use. It's not too hard to press, and it has a good spring back function. Seems pretty solid. It's not really flimsy, so you know that's fairly straightforward. But like I was saying when I first started looking at the scissor function, is that you have this push forward thumb button, whatever you'd like to call it. You can see it there, and it slides back and forward, so you can lock the scissors about 1/2 to 3/4 of the way down. And how that works is they have a clip here. Can you see that? Okay, and it's a pretty solid clip. It's got the Gerber label on it and that sort of thing, but it is solid. And what they're saying you can do, and let me show you, is you'd put this on your belt or on your pocket, just put it on there. Let's see if I can show you this. Just like that. And what that would be for is you need to cut some line. So all you're going to do is just put the line on there and push down, and it cuts it. And it does a pretty good job. Like I said, it is sharp, so it does cut pretty easily. Let's see if I can cut this fly line. It cuts it pretty easy. So that's a nice function, and I'm wondering, that is why they have that, what they call their tether ring, and they consider it so important. I would be a little nervous of just putting this on my pocket or on my belt, moving around, you bend over or something and you push it off and you've lost it. So I think by adding a zinger to it, to that tether line, it's just a securing point, so that if it does fall out of your pocket, you're not going to lose it, or off your belt. So I'll give it to them then. But as you can see, it works pretty well. You just literally pull the line down, straight down through here, and it cuts right through it, and it is sharp. So a good function. In fact, I think that's probably one of the best features they have on this, is the scissors snipper. Very nice, sharp, pretty solid. Don't see a problem there. The last function on it is the split shot crimper, and here is where the eye hook leader was, where you can feed through your eye hook. It's part of the scissor thing. So what on the other side, yes, where you put your line through your hook, and on the other side is the split shot. And if you look in here, hopefully you can see that they've actually made an indent there where you'd put your split shot in. You would close it down, to hold it, put your line through here, and you can see they have it slit, so your line goes in there, and then you would just use a vise type thing just to squeeze your split shot onto your line. So that's a nice little touch. You know, I always bite it on there, and I mess up my line and that sort of thing. So that's a nice thing to have. So that was number 6. So there you have it, the 6 functions. Overall, it's a pretty cool tool. And did you like that? Pretty cool tool. So, you know, from Gerber, it's well made. It was the first thing I noticed, was how well made it is. It's solid. It's made of aluminum. You're not going to get any rust or anything on it. They do say you do need to maintain it, and I read that on the card down here, and that is for optimal performance after each use, rinse with fresh water and dry thoroughly. Lightly lubricate moving parts regularly. Now, you know, I carry real oil, so I'd probably use that, wash it off, clean it, and use some real oil on here, you know, to stop this sort of stuff from jamming up. And the spin function, maybe that'll help it more, and this moving part. So they're talking about the moving parts, just take care of it, just like anything else. This is a little bit more expensive, so you want to take care of it, and hopefully it'll last a long time. So there you have it, the Gerber Line Driver, Line Management Multi-Tool. Overall, pretty cool. You know, I did put the specs up for you and everything, and some pictures, and the price, and it's almost 40 bucks. It's not cheap. And considering that, for me, I wouldn't normally buy this. It just got my attention. As a fly fishing person, the functions on here don't really work. I can get, well, they do on most of them. I mean, they work for it, but for me, it just doesn't work for fly fishing as well as this simple little tool does here. Which has the nails, the hook sharpener, the nail knot tire, and the clippers, which is all I really need. But for you know, for the regular fisherman, bait fisherman, lure fisherman, bass, that sort of thing, this is a nice tool, and you might want to consider it. Anyway, if you can, you know, put a comment below what you think, and if there's anything else out there that you think I might be interested in having a look at, please put it in the comments below. So there you have it, the Gerber Line Driver. Has the Gerber name on it, the Gerber symbol. Nice tool. I like it. Is it worth the 40 bucks? I'm not sure. On my budget, that's a little stiff. But if it's going to last a long time, it's probably worth it. One thing I did learn though is if there's something that you're going to be using a lot of, spend some money on it and it'll last you a long time, and if you take care of it, you'll get your money back. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, you know the story. And pretty sure I'll be back soon with another gizmo, unless I start catching fish. Fat chance of that. Put a comment below what you on a tool that you use, and maybe I'll have a look at that. Thanks for watching. Bye.